Well, good morning, folks, and welcome to the Friday. These weeks go by real fast. The Friday edition to the Steve Comic Express. Thank you, Eddie Marin, for doing a bang-up job last night at Jake and Johnny's Lounge. We had a lot of comedians come by, and we thank all our comedians, and what a great audience we had. We had people laughing. The comics get to enjoy telling their jokes to a live audience. It's Jake and Johnny's on the hill, folks. It's a magical place, and that concludes our open mics for the week, though. John Parada's Comedy Factory does this weekly, and that concludes it for this week. To reset for next week, excuse me, why the allergy again kicks my butt in the morning. Tomorrow I'm going to be at the comedy class graduation out in Warwick. I'm running. I got to set up the sound and helping to run that. You comics want to get involved in telling jokes, by the way, check out John Parada Comedy Factory's comedy education classes. It's a great thing. Check it out, folks. Anyway, artistrybysteve.com does well, and I can't thank you enough for all your support and purchase of my artwork. Well, folks, here we are. We're stuck in the middle with you. Isn't there a song named that? I'm stuck in the middle with you. Yes, we are stuck. Here we are, folks, and we are seeing a crack in the foundation as we hear. Good morning, Cousin Steve and Mark. We got a crack in the foundation as they report with regards to the government deliberate shutdown by the Democrat Party. So we're going to see if that comes to fruition. Let's talk more about that. But first, use my promo code 6MMJUU to download Upside to get a bonus. When you pump gas, you get paid. When you go out and eat, you get paid. When you get to-go food, you get paid. When you go shopping, you get paid. All of that. You see the app, the money grows inside the Upside app. And you figure out whenever you want that money, it's yours. You can put it in your debit account, PayPal, gift card, Amazon, and the like. And guess what? You never get charged a fee. An app that pays you to download it, Upside. Yesterday we talked about how heartless the Democrat Party is, and I think you're getting to see that more and more and more each day. Nancy Pelosi, upon her retirement, and good riddance, Nancy, don't let the door hit you in the butt on the way out. Please don't, Martha Stewart goes to jail for the very thing Nancy Pelosi did and does and others do in Congress, insider trading. And you want to talk about the hypocrisies in our laws and how the people that get elected get away with it. Nancy Pelosi will retire with $30 million or more than that, maybe. I heard it was in the multiple millions. She's 85 years old. And here she is on the way out calling Donald Trump the most dangerous, or whatever she said, person on the planet. Totally overlooking those who kill Christians. And speaking of Christians, she invoked St. Francis. She invoked his name. Nancy Pelosi. And I blame the Vatican as well. And I blame the prior Pope who has gone to, I think, God. I don't know. But I blame the Catholic religion, the Vatican, for embracing you and your husband, who are on the forefront of killing infants inside and outside of the womb, and the death you've caused a lot of people in this country. I would have had you 100,000 miles away from the Vatican. But however, you were embraced inside the Vatican and embraced by the Pope, which led me at that point, I didn't like the past Pope. And when that happened, it certainly sealed the deal for me, because I don't think, quite frankly, and this is my opinion, that any Catholic, so to speak, any Catholic by design or by convenience, should even enter a church, being allowed to receive communion, being allowed to embrace God at the altar, when you are voting for a part of killing infants, God's creation, inside and outside of the womb, carelessly. Not talking about those who saved their lives to save a life of a mother, or those who've been raped, which is usually done at the very beginning. But I want to just say to you folks, I have no patience. Thank God I wasn't in the priesthood or a pastor of a church, because I don't want your money. I don't want your Democrat politics in my church. I don't. Got something in my eye, it's bothering me. Anyway. To Nancy Pelosi, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. Now we have to deal with the Democrat Party and the hate. Think about this, folks. Is there really a crack in the foundation today? With their hate? Shutting down travel for commuters going to see their family for a holiday? We know how Democrats really feel about holidays. We know how they really feel about Christianity and Catholicism and all that. Quite frankly, I think the Democrats will keep the government closed until the day Donald Trump breathes no more. I think that's the plan of the Democrat Party. They think that that's a win. They even think that that's what got them elected in blue states. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be on the side that disagrees with all the pundits that said, well, the Democrats won the day because of the shutdown. No, it wasn't because of the shutdown. New York is in its own bubble. They live by their own constitution, their own, so to speak, reality. Virginia likewise. And then you have other elections. I'm sorry, folks. I think the Democrat Party has embraced the radical side, the dangerously hateful, the killing side of their party. And now we've got two choices. Kill or freedom. That's what we really do have in America. Kill or freedom. What do you want?
Object on road reported ahead.
I love I love this navigator. It's unbelievable because it'll tell me when Jesus is coming, and boy, he is. I have to tell you folks that the rhetoric that comes out of the mouth of Democrats is something that is so dangerous, so vile, so hateful, that it baffles me how anyone walking this planet could be a Democrat or vote for one, for that matter. You have to look high and wide and underneath the bed and underneath the rug to find Republicans that said the things that Democrats have said. Dancing on the grave of Charlie Kirk and dancing on the grave of many that were almost assassinated, or even whatever. I mean, just to think, ladies and gentlemen, even the insurance executive, to hear the hate that comes from the Democrat Party is rather scary. Rather scary. But we do have a crack in the foundation, folks. And me, I'm a little bit skeptical, because knowing the Democrats, and go figure, Fetterman being the only one with a brain, who almost lost the brain completely, I think you're going to see something, folks, in New York City. New York City didn't realize what they did. Well, I already heard reports of people already planning their leave. They're getting out before the swearing-in ceremony in January of this radical Islamic anti-Semitic person name of Mandani, Zohan Mandani. Good morning, Richard. But it's been exposed. Shutting down the government, ladies and gentlemen, was only to achieve their power, their leverage, and to use you as the slaves of their shutdown. Air traffic will be interrupted by 4% today, and it will go up 1% each day until it reaches a maximum of 10%. And keep in mind one thing, folks, that even if the turnaround of the government to be open, even today, this is going to cause disruption on Thanksgiving travel. So I want you folks to realize the danger, the damage this has already caused. That even if it were to turn around today, travel on Thanksgiving will be interrupted. And you can thank a Democrat for doing that. You can certainly thank a Democrat for doing that. So sad that we've gotten to this point in our country. Marjorie Taylor Greene has gone off the deep end. What's the matter, Marjorie? You're not a player anymore? Showing up on The View, what an idiot you are. I want to give them 2 seconds. 2 seconds of my time. Now, I want to say something, folks, and I got to make it clear if I haven't already made it clear. With regards to politics in Rhode Island, running campaigns and whatnot, I have retired from doing that. I think that goes back to 2016, 17, I forgot when it was, 17, 18. I've retired from running campaigns. So people have been asking me, why aren't you helping to get candidates elected? I can't. And it's not because I despise the people running or whatever. It's just that I can't get involved because I'm involved in too much. To get involved in an election like I used to means that I have to give up every single thing I'm doing. And I can't even come on here and say my piece because I would have to protect the candidate who I'm running. I can't. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, no. And quite frankly, to run a statewide campaign, nobody has the $175,000 or $150,000 that I would require pay to do so. Nobody has that kind of money. And quite frankly, I'm not willing to give up the money I make here on social media. I'm not willing to give up the money I make on comedy, on my artwork, and everything else that I do. I'm just not ready to do that. So I just don't want you folks in Rhode Island who hear me or anywhere else. I could certainly advise you, but I am not running any more campaigns. And I do wish you luck. I do wish you luck. But a word of advice to any Republican governor who's seeking election in Rhode Island, who thinks that they can get something done, the answer to that question is simply, you won't. You will be nothing but a flower pot sitting at the governor's desk, and all you'll ever have is maybe a portrait of yourself hanging on the wall long after you're out of office, because the representatives are a veto-proof majority, meaning that they'll put any bill in they want and you have nothing, absolutely nothing to say about it. You're just a figurehead. So if that's something you want, and all you want is a portrait on the wall, then you waste your time, waste your money, waste your freedom, waste everything, because it's going to take you absolutely nowhere, because nobody is doing the hard work to get Republicans elected in the General Assembly. Nobody's doing the hard work. Mark Destorian and Mike Napolitano and myself we have the record on getting the most elected from our classes. We have the record. And we don't do it anymore. Why? Well, we were cast out with the baby in the bathwater by our own party. Go figure. You would think we would have left the party. No, we didn't. We're still Republicans. You know, I have to say what I have to say. And but I just want to put that disclaimer out there for you folks who ask me to help certain people in their campaigns. I have retired from it. And I mean that sincerely. Even if my own son or my own daughter came to me and asked me to run their campaign, I won't be able to do it. I can't. I'm involved in too much other stuff, as you see. So I just wanted to make that even clear. And if that highlights it better for you, that's the truth. I don't care if you were my son or my daughter running for political office. I'll give you money, but I can't help you. I can't manage your campaign. I can't even help you with it. I wish you luck. And so there's where you know where I stand. And by the way, if you were my kid seeking to be a governor in this state, I might have to slap you in the face and say, wake up. What are you, stupid? Not in this state. You'll get nothing done. So therefore, I wouldn't even give him money for that race. Maybe Congress, I give him money, but not for the gubernatorial race. It's useless. Folks, as a person like myself who has suffered a near-death experience, and many who have a gift. We know our tomorrows better than we know our todays. Many people ask me, how do you know so much about this and that and the other thing? Well, I only know so much. Because if I knew a lot, then I would know the lottery number and I would be a billionaire or a trillionaire, just like Elon Musk will soon be a trillionaire. I don't have that foresight. But I know my tomorrows better than I know my todays. And boy, Jesus is coming. God is coming, folks. The wrath is here. I'm going to tell you, folks, as I've told you many times, and I'm not wearing a tinfoil hat, if you haven't noticed. I've told you to prepare. I told you to have a food closet, have a freezer, have a generator, get weapons, protect your family. I've told you to do that many, many, many times. And I'm going to tell you to do it once again to remind you that we are on the back door of something very tragic to happen in this country. The Democrat Party is not going away easily. They keep telling you that we want the Civil War, all while, again, they let the cat out of the bag. It's they want the Civil War. You don't shut a government down because you're looking for peace in the streets. You're looking for peace amongst the people in the country. You do that with the hopes of internal fighting. Because when you say things like, you're a Nazi, you're a Hitler, you're looking for someone to kill the person you're referring to. Charlie Kirk was an example. Donald Trump was almost an example. Steve Scalise was almost an example. So now they're doing things and saying things that they're with the hopes of causing internal fighting. Thanks to the FBI, they foiled an ISIS attempt in New Jersey where there were going to be beheading of Jews on Halloween. Go figure. Let that sink in, folks. The Democrat Party wants us to fight. They want us to get into a civil war. Why shut down the government? Why let people go starving? Why? And then you got a Rhode Island judge telling Donald Trump to get the money. What money? Tell us where you find that money. The Rhode Island judge. Hey, this is me talking to you, the Rhode Island judge. You're an idiot, and so are the parents who raised you, okay? I mean that sincerely. you're an idiot, and so are the parents that raised you are an idiot. To even come up with that, there's nothing we can do unless the Democrats come back and open the government. Good morning, Randy and Richard. Richard, I always think of your brother. He was the best piano player Rhode Island and this country, one of the best this country's ever seen. Your late brother. He was the best. Absolutely the best. I had an opportunity to sing as he played piano at Allery's once. I just did one song. I wasn't booked with him. One of the best around. I always think of your brother. Every single time I see your name. God rest his soul. Anyway, that was a little aside. Folks, remember, the Democrats are doing this because they want internal fighting. Otherwise, why do it? Why stop the people? Why cut people from going to and from on airplanes and whatnot? Why cut the air traffic control, which would put danger in people's lives, death on runways and the like? Folks, the Democrat Party is a party of death. Get that in your head. They are the party of death. You should be 1,000 miles away from ever voting for a single one. Remember that, folks. Our weapon of choice will be the voting booth. The midterms are coming, and you have better be voting Republican. Otherwise, just delete me, block me. I don't want you in my world because you want to destroy this country. Have a nice day, folks.